Welcome back to Klepper's Corner, Today in History. Today we're diving into January 14th, a date in world history that feels like someone hit shuffle on civilization. It's the day America became legally real. England became theatrically Protestant. Punk rock died, morning TV was born, a doctor in the frontier said, "Yeah, I'll just do the surgery myself," and a European robot landed on a moon colder than your ex's last text. January 14th is where history goes when it wants to be interesting, but also slightly unhinged. Segment 1, the birth of American self-government. January 14th gives us not one, but two moments where early Americans tried to figure out this whole government thing before coffee existed. First, in 1639, Connecticut adopted the Fundamental Orders, basically the beta version of democracy. It was like the U.S. Constitution, if the Constitution was written by pastors in wool underwear. And you know what? It worked. They invented term limits, the idea of voting without a royal permission slip, and a government that didn't require you to join a church first. Revolutionary stuff for people who still thought tomatoes were suspicious. Jump forward to 1784, and Congress is trying to ratify the Treaty of Paris. The stakes are huge. If they don't ratify by March, Britain could, very politely, unwin the war. But Congress can't get 9 states to show up because the Articles of Confederation were written by people who really believed in trusting 13 states to agree on anything. Spoiler, they shouldn't have. Delegates were snowed in, broke, tired, and possibly hungover. It looked hopeless until South Carolina literally dragged Richard Beresford in from his sickbed like he was being Weekend at Bernie'd into democracy. He shows up, they hit quorum, America becomes legally official, and we learn a valuable lesson. The birth of a nation depends on someone showing up to work sick. Which honestly, yeah, that checks out. Segment 2, the geometry of war, from Panapat to Napoleon. January 14th is also a day when war decided to get complicated. In 1761, the Third Battle of Panapat went down, a giant clash between the Marathas and the Afghan forces of Ahmad Shah Durrani. It was brutal, it was massive, and it ended with both sides too exhausted to rule anything. It's kind of like when two guys fight over the last parking space, crash both cars, and then someone else takes it. That someone else was the British East India Company. Meanwhile, in 1797, Napoleon rolls up at the Battle of Rivoli with a math-based battle plan that screams, "Guy who definitely corrected his teacher." The Austrians attack in multiple columns, like they're auditioning for a disaster. Napoleon uses interior lines, artillery on the high ground, and pure tactical arrogance to beat them one at a time. It's elegant. It's efficient. It's like watching a guy win chess by flipping between 5 boards and trash-talking the whole time. The victories at Panapat and Rivoli show two sides of strategy. One battle so chaotic it opened the door to colonialism, and another so precise it opened the door to Napoleon being on way too many coffee mugs. January 14th, where war does geometry and geometry does war. Segment 3. The Casablanca Conference, designing the end of World War II. Jump to 1943, where Roosevelt and Churchill meet in Casablanca. Yes, the same place as the movie, but with fewer pianos and more maps. They come together to answer the big question. How do we end this global nightmare without Google Maps? The Americans want to invade France immediately. The British want to poke Italy in the ribs first and see what falls out. Roosevelt and Churchill argue about strategy like divorced parents negotiating spring break. Eventually, Churchill's soft underbelly of Europe plan wins, which is ironic because if Europe had a soft underbelly, it would absolutely be Britain's weather. But fine, Sicily first. Then Roosevelt casually drops unconditional surrender into the press conference. It's the diplomatic equivalent of saying, no deals, no bargains, no coupons, this is a full-price victory. Stalin loves it. Germany hates it. History remembers it. And the rest of the world goes, wow, okay, someone's feeling bold today. Casablanca shows us that sometimes world-changing decisions are made not by geniuses, but by very tired men arguing in hotel robes. Segment 4, Political Theater, Elizabeth I and the Tunisian Revolution. January 14th really loves a good political spectacle. In 1559, Elizabeth I takes her coronation procession through London, basically the Renaissance version of a TikTok thirst trap. She's given an English Bible, kisses it like she's unboxing a brand new iPhone, and London cheers because finally, here's a monarch whose religious views won't get them all executed before brunch. The whole procession is symbolism, pageantry, and well-placed lighting. Think Barbie, but with more velvet and less existential dread. Elizabeth used performance to stabilize a divided country. Then, in 2011, Tunisia flips the script. There's no procession, no velvet, no carefully scripted pageantry. There are massive crowds chanting, "Get out," at President Ben Ali. The military refuses to fire. Ben Ali flees the country like someone who suddenly remembered he left the stove on in Saudi Arabia. It's the first victory of the Arab Spring, and a reminder that sometimes political theater isn't a parade. It's the people rewriting the script. Elizabeth earns the throne with a show, then Ali loses it with one. Segment 5, Science Goes Wild, Titan, Surgery, and the Assembly Line. January 14th is also the day human innovation said, let's go for chaos bingo. In 2005, the Huygens probe lands on Titan, a moon so cold it makes Minnesota in January look tropical. It parachutes down through orange haze, finds methane rivers, and sends back pictures that look like the Grand Canyon, but for aliens who enjoy freezer burn. For 72 minutes, humanity hears from a robot sitting in slush on another world. After that, silence, like a cosmic mic drop. But back on Earth in 1794, Dr. Jesse Bennett performs the first successful C-section in the U.S. The attending doctor refuses to operate because it's too dangerous. So Bennett says, "Hold my laudanum," performs it himself, and somehow both mother and baby survive. He doesn't publish it because he knows nobody will believe him. Which means the first successful American C-section is basically a frontier ghost story that turned out to be true. Then, in 1914, Henry Ford perfects the assembly line. He speeds up car production so much that workers quit in droves because humans cannot physically keep up with a conveyor belt moving at, what if we made capitalism sprint? Ford doubles wages just to keep anyone from bolting. And thus, America becomes a country where you can build the car you'll eventually get stuck behind in traffic. Segment 6, Cultural Earthquakes. Punk dies and breakfast TV is born. January 14th, 1978. The Sex Pistols play their last show. They're sloppy, angry, barely on key. So basically, peak punk. Johnny Rotten ends by asking, ever get the feeling you've been cheated? Punk rock drops the mic, quits the job, and walks off stage. It's the most punk thing punk could do. January 14th, 1952. NBC debuts The Today Show. America wakes up, flips on the TV, and sees Dave Garroway calmly telling them about the world like a guy who wandered into your kitchen and politely asked for coffee. Critics hate it. Viewers love it. The show even brings on a chimpanzee co-host because network executives were like, sure, journalism. Morning TV is born, and America never stops watching screens while brushing their teeth again. One day, music implodes. Another day, television explodes. Same date, January 14th, does not sleep. Segment 7, Rituals, Legends, and Legacies. January 14th is also the day the world gets spiritual, sporty, philosophical, and petty. It's Makar Sankranti, a harvest festival where India celebrates the sun moving north by eating sweets and launching kites into the sky like they're storming the atmosphere. It's joyful, bright, and infinitely more relaxing than any Western holiday involving relatives and casseroles. It's also the anniversary of the Miami Dolphins completing the only perfect NFL season. To this day, Dolphins players crack champagne every time another team fails to do it. That's right, perfection gives you the lifelong right to be delightfully smug. It's Benedict Arnold's birthday, too. History's reminder that sometimes the guy who helps you win Saratoga will also sell you out later. And Albert Schweitzer's birthday, a man who gave up organ concerts to become a doctor in Africa, proving some people really do change careers for good reasons. And it's World Logic Day, honoring Gödel and Tarski. These are the guys who told math, "You're beautiful, but you'll never be perfect." And math has been in therapy ever since. January 14th is everything. Triumphs, betrayals, revolutions, robots, football, philosophy, and enough symbolism to make a film studies major weep. In conclusion, January 14th is the historical superstore, where every aisle has something wild. Democracy barely surviving attendance issues, empires collapsing in mathematical formation, monarchs performing PR stunts, dictators running out of time, robots landing on alien shores, punk rock imploding, and morning TV waking up America. If history has a day where it tries on every outfit, every vibe, every possible plot twist, it's today. Thanks for watching, and may your January 14th be at least slightly less chaotic than the original.